You're listening to the Pillaging Podcast, companion podcast to PillagingJustForFun.com. That's PJ4F.com, the only Raider fan site made by Raider fans for Raider fans. Tune in every week on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher Radio, wherever podcasts are found. Call and leave a message to be played on air at 408-909-PJFF. This episode brought to you by Creative Media Design Studio. Check them out at CreativeMediaMonterey.com. It's time to pillage another podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Stapler. What's cracking, Che?
This is music, man.
This
music cracking, man. That's just cracking.
So, just so folks know, we didn't have the fade there, but that'll be there. That'll be there in post.
We'll fade it out.
Just so you guys know, when we do the show, typically the music's not in there, and we add that in post. But now that we're doing the live stream, trying to get everything to you guys live and direct, including the music. If you guys are watching the YouTube stream, so you get the full or close to the full experience.
Yeah.
But what's happening, man? What's good in your world?
Man, I guess I was saying off air, right? Baby's been sick. My lady's been sick. So they're both recovering right now. They're not 100%. Baby's doing a lot better than she was on Wednesday and Thursday. She was feeling really sick, man. So she has an ear infection, unfortunately, but we kind of got it early.
Good.
I had to take the day off on Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we went and we try to hunt down her doctor. Yeah, we're probably gonna be moving doctors.
Sounds like
it's not a good doctor if every time you need to go in for like an emergency reason you can't get a hold of your doctor.
That's not a good doctor.
Yeah, the only time that it's like easy to get a hold of her is like when you're set your appointment 2 months in advance. So
yeah,
nah,
it's time to reevaluate that.
Yeah,
situation.
we're reevaluating it. So, but she was seen and she got some medicine and found the infection. Like I said, got the antibiotics. So, baby's doing better. She's smiling. That's always a great sign.
That's good.
She wasn't herself. Now that put me in a really bad mood.
Yeah, I can imagine. You never know because they can't talk, right? That's a big thing.
Yeah, man.
Well, prayers for your little one. Hopefully,
Thank you.
She bounces back.
Thank you.
And for both of you guys, because I know you guys are hanging in there.
Yeah,
being parents, tough job, especially at this stage.
It's not easy.
But here we are. It's Sunday. It's our new time slot. We've kind of moved around quite a bit since we started the show. I don't remember what our original time slot was. I think it was like Tuesday or Monday. Might have been Tuesday. And then we moved it to Thursday.
Yeah.
And now here we are on Sunday. And we might bounce around a little bit more. We have Monday night games and stuff like that. It might get pushed, but we'll see. My new work schedule doesn't allow for weeknights, really, because I work 10 hours. I get off about 10 p.m. in San Jose. But we'll see what's good. And, of course, we'll be doing some shows from the tailgate this year. I want to take the time to remind everybody that we are part of the Out of Pocket Sports Network.
Yes, we are.
And joining us this week is basically the chief editor of the Out of Pocket Sports Network, Angria Trask.
Yes.
As she goes by now.
Angria.
I don't know if I can use her government or not.
We'll ask her when she goes on.
Also want to remind our listeners to check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Pillaging Podcast, I believe it is. We do a live stream on there, so we're going to try to get started for you guys every Sunday at about 6 p.m. Again, if you tune in to watch that show, it is a little bit different than what you're listening to now. It is not a produced version. It is a raw, uncut.
Yes.
You get to hear the callers as we listen to them, our live reactions. You can interact with us in the chat. You can ask us questions. We will respond. I'm not looking at the chat right now, but I will.
Yeah. It's also where we get our I See You segment from.
Yes, the new ICU segment is live and direct. Also, reminding you guys to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Just search the Pillaging Podcast. You'll find us. Different handles on each network, but you'll find us. Also, download the official Pillaging Podcast app, now available for Android and iOS. Not ayahuasca, iOS.
That'd be a trippy show, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be. Probably not advisable to do an 8-hour ayahuasca show. Not to mention highly illegal. And of course, make sure you click over to pj4f.com and pj4f.com/shop. Check out some of our gear. We just posted a new article there today. It was written by Podunk Raider, one of our weekly callers. He did a good write-up on the Colton Miller and Brandon Parker picks.
There you go.
And how it integrates with John Gruden and Tom Cable and everything. And you brought up a good point before we got on the air about Raider fans acting brand new. You want to explain that a little bit?
I just, it was just funny to me because, and I'm not excluding myself, but Raider fans are acting brand new. You know, initially it was an uproar. Everyone hated the picks. We just blew it. Get Gruden out of here. I'm tired of him already. All that kind of stuff. And now everyone's like, oh, man, Miller was a great pick. He's going to be a Pro Bowler and all this.
I love Colton Miller.
Yeah, Colton Miller is the man. He was a perfect pick, that 15.
He was on my, 37th mock. Best tackle in the draft. I'm kind of glad we didn't give him McGlinchey. Derwin James is going to be a bust. Yeah. Yeah, you're a professional.
Everything is still to be seen. But I think we can all agree that we're feeling a little more comfortable with the picks.
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves either. Let's not be like, everybody, we're gonna have the best draft of the entire NFL and all that kind of stuff. That's
now people are saying that they swung over to the other extreme and just pump the brakes.
So I'm the type of person that doesn't want to live in the extremes. Although I did say that we were going to go
14-2 or something like that.
13-3 last season. So maybe that's too extreme. Maybe I should have learned my lesson. I should have took my own advice last season. But I'm the type of person that says, there's one extreme, there's the other. There's probably the right answer somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I live right there with you.
Yeah, let's live right there.
I mean, when you eat Oreos for the middle, right?
That's right.
You eat PB&J for the middle.
There you go.
Of course, cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
it's for the middle.
It's for the middle.
In fact, I only eat the middle now.
That's true because you got keto. You can't
keto.
handle buns.
Yeah,
there's no buns.
But I just, for the record, I want to say that the Pillaging Podcast was immediately neutral on the picks.
We did. We kind of entered it really quick, all right. And then it was after the Martavius trade too, right? Martavis. Sorry, my bad.
Damn it.
I know, my bad. Martavis. My bad, Martavis, for saying your name incorrectly.
Is you and everybody else?
Yeah,
it's Martavis Bryant.
Martavis Bryant. But it was after the trade, and we were feeling a little bit better about it. But we weren't so happy at 15,
right?
When it happened, we're like, because everybody that was left on the board, right? But
yeah. We took some time to simmer down. Reason number 47 while we don't do a live draft show.
But that's why we digest it, man. You got to digest it.
Digest and digress.
That's it, man.
Move forward.
Let it simmer.
So let's get ready with these quick hits, man.
Let's do it.
Rest in peace to Billy Cannon. Fire the cannon.
Yes.
Fire! Should have had a cannon sound effect. Rest in peace to Billy Cannon. Raiders running back, tight end. I believe during the 1967 era, he was a part of that championship team. Played for the Silver and Blacks 1964, 1969. Key member of the Raiders 1967 AFL championship team. Drafted by both the Rams of the NFL and the Oilers of the AFL. Selected first overall by the Rams. Was also the first pick in Oilers history. Raiders acquired Gannon via trade on September 8th. September 8th, 1964. Oakland Tribune's George Ross wrote in his memory, Cannon, the AFL's first superstar, former Heisman Trophy winner, and twice an All-American back at Louisiana State University, came to Oakland yesterday in exchange for 3 football players, flanker Dobie Gregg, guard Sonny Bishop, and fullback Bob Jackson, not to be confused with Bo Jackson.
No.
He was one letter off, man. He's like, damn.
He was almost amazing, right? He was almost a living god, right?
Cannon, a 9.4 college sprinter with a 230-pound weightlifter's body, will team with Clem Daniels to form a big black backfield, and that's what it says here, which could give the Raiders the most potent 1-2 punch in the league. So even back then, drafting big, fast guys. So rest in peace, Cannon, probably a name not a lot of Raider fans know. You guys have been around for a while, know Cannon well. Billy Cannon, I'm sure they'll be lighting the torch for him this year.
Yeah. Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, another great. We lost another great, man. That was back when the NFL, I mean, they really don't take care of their former players now.
Right.
But you could argue that the salary they make during their career supposed to take care of them for the future. Back then, these guys were making, nothing. They were making dirt.
Mm-hmm.
So, Billy
playing
Cannon,
for the love of the game.
Basically.
The love of the game.
And working at car dealerships in the offseason, you
yep.
know. So, Billy Cannon, man, you will be remembered. And
I remember.
And if you don't know who Cannon is and you're interested, just look him up. Quick Google search. I didn't know who he was. I was doing some reading on him this afternoon.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Cool ass name, man.
Billy Cannon.
Yeah,
That sounds like a legit Raider name, bro.
Yeah, I would say, especially for like a pirate team, you
Right.
know? Well, that's cool. But yeah, all quiet on the Mac and Bowman front still. Just no news there.
No news.
No, Mac's still a Raider. Bowman just drifting in the wind out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Another guy that's out there is Mike Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
And I also saw released was, I don't know about released but not picked up, was Pac-Man Jones.
Okay.
I know some folks that want to bring him in too for a shot. You know, I want to be opposed to it, but he's getting older as well. And, but I like his tenacity, man. I like these kind of, I'll call them black hat players.
That's one of those things where it's kind of do you bring him in? Because we had the same questions about bringing in Talib, right? When Crabtree was still on board.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Pac-Man Jones is the person who slammed Amari Cooper's head into the ground.
Yeah.
Or onto his helmet, I think maybe even.
Yeah. Well, and then they were chilling at the Pro Bowl together.
Okay.
So.
Let bygones be bygones then, man.
He heated the battle, man. But that's what I like about Pac-Man Jones, his tenacity. He just gets after. He's a nasty player,
It's
man.
true.
He's a nasty player.
It's true. You want some gritty, mean, tough MFers, right?
That's it.
That's it.
Maurice Hurst officially signs his contract. He's now officially an Oakland Raider.
Yep.
Colton Miller officially signs his contract.
Yep.
Now officially an Oakland Raider. And I know a lot of you guys called that. I know. So I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. There's not a lot of news.
Yeah.
Did come out this week, though, whisperings in the autumn wind that Greg Papa may not be making the jump to Las Vegas.
Yeah. And let me just say this. This was off the air. This was just personal talk between me and Kenny. But Kenny did talk about this possibly happening.
Yeah.
A while ago, last season actually, when the Vegas deal was like made official. You're like, I don't know if Papa goes, man. That's gonna be sad to see.
Yeah.
To hear him not as the voice of the Raiders. We've grown so familiar with it.
Yeah.
Right. And it'd be sad to see him go. Period.
Yeah.
But then it makes you kind of angry that he's thinking about going to San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's logical.
But he's a Bay Area guy. He does all the Bay Area games. You know, he does Warriors games. He does stuff like that. So it's understandable.
Covers the Warriors. Used to do Warriors broadcast, I believe. Used to do A's broadcast. Does still cover the A's. Obviously, he's got he's on 95.7. He's got a contract with them. So he's technically already getting paid to talk about the Niners. Because if you tuned into 95.7 lately,
they talk a lot of Niners, man.
Yeah.
And isn't Bonte a Niners fan too?
Yeah, Bonte Hill's a big Niner guy. You want Raiders?
That's why I don't listen to that.
I don't either, man. In fact, lately when I turn on 680 KMBR, which I think, in my opinion, it's a better channel.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Radnich.
Yeah.
But I do like listening in the morning to Murph and Mac for my Giants coverage. I think Tom Tolbert's entertaining guy. But lately when I turn into the Tolbert show, he's talking Raiders. He's got a Raider player on. So they're covering the Raiders more than anything. Yeah.
That's good.
I miss the days of old when it was 680 was Niner Giant coverage, 1050 was A's Raider coverage, the ticket 1050. You had JT the Brick on there. You had Greg Papa on there.
Yep.
You had Pete. I forget his last name. Pete. Forget his name. He was a good baseball guy. Somebody will chime in and let me know. But it was a good station, man. But now if you want Raiders coverage, you got it right here.
That's it.
Pillaging Podcast. Also, I always like to give a shout out to Raider Fan Radio. And the show I've been listening to lately is CBS Sports Radio out there in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Our friend Scott Winter is on there now.
Yeah.
From Las Vegas Raiders Report. I forget what their now I'm drawing another blank what their new name is, but that's actually a pretty good show. It's on Sunday mornings. It's about 2 hours. Pretty good Raiders coverage. They had Mark Bedane on this week, president of the Oakland Raiders. So that's a pretty good show.
Yeah.
If you want to hear some Raiders coverage, and they do archive that show, you can listen to it as a podcast. But I think I might be calling into that show. They do call-ins.
That'd be cool, man.
So
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I'm gonna have to jump aboard their ship.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to pillage that show. With all due respect,
you've done that to other shows too, man.
I've pillaged.
Just say
I've pillaged, and I believe Kane made an appearance recently on the Raiders Lounge.
Oh,
it's another cool show.
Cool.
They broadcast out of the UK and New York, so I do believe they do their show on Saturday or Sunday as well. And there's a ton of Raider podcasts. So there's a new one launching called Just Win Ladies.
Yeah,
and it's going to be all female hosts. It's going to be Angria Trask and Jenny Lynn.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Angria on today to talk a little bit about that show.
I like it.
They're supposed to launch last week, Mother's Day. They're supposed to launch this week. They haven't quite launched yet, but we're going to get Angria on here to talk a little bit about that and talk about the site that she edits and writes for the Raider Ramble. And she's done some pretty good stuff. Recently, she's been doing some historical pieces on the Raiders, so maybe we'll talk about that a little bit too.
Dope.
Because she knows a lot, but I also know that she's been learning a lot, so I want to pick her brain on that.
Ain't we all always learning.
It's time for sauces.
Sauces.
The word on the street is Oakland. The city of Oakland does not want the Raiders in Oakland in 2019. Scott McKibben, who's the head of the JPA Stadium Authority, apparently has soured on Oakland staying there and renewing their lease for next year. He figures the lease is up and they need to get out. Now, I'm paraphrasing. I'm getting this from a friend of mine who's got some inside connections. Before you blast me and make fun of that,
right?
It's true. He's told me some things in the past. I haven't really said anything, but I'm saying it now just because this isn't really breaking news. I'm not saying it's anything solid. And in fact, if you watched any of the press conferences that happened shortly after the signing, you probably saw this coming. There were some folks in those press conferences, not naming any names, that were already kind of like, we want him out here.
Right.
In fact, I believe they pretty much said that.
I mean, they've been saying it since the announcement was that we're going to Vegas officially, right?
Yeah.
They've been saying that. So This isn't a surprise. This isn't like surprising news, breaking news. We've been expecting this.
Yeah.
This kind of talk.
So the question becomes, where do they play? Do they play a season at Levi? I know there's always that joke, half truth. I don't know how serious people are floating out there. Oh, the Raiders will just be a road team for an entire year. They'll play in Canada, they'll play in London, they'll play in Mexico. That's not going to happen. There's also the chance that they find some field down there in Las Vegas and they play out there. There's a lot of options. They can share StubHub, which I don't think is feasible. The most likely option would probably be them playing at Levi, but that's also doubtful. So we'll see. It's out there. How do you feel about that?
I mean, like we all feel, right, man? We want to keep as many games close to home as we can before they take off. We want to be able to go, do the tailgate and hang out and live it up for, the final years that they are the officially the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Before they become the Raiders. Because I'm not going to call them the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know. It sounds weird, bro.
Not yet, man.
It sounds weird.
Not yet.
Before they just become the Raiders.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, that's how I feel about it, man.
Yeah.
I want them to allow them to stick around, let the fans get more of what they want and what they need. We need as many.
What you need.
It's what we want is what we need.
Yeah.
We need as many home games before they officially depart for Vegas, man.
And I don't understand the urgency here. If any of this is true, which I think it is, like I said, judging by the demeanor that I saw in some of those post press conferences, because the A's are still there. The A's are not moving anytime soon. Yep. They're still looking at other possibilities. I know their minor league teams moving to Las Vegas, which is interesting. The whole Rooted in Oakland campaign. The city of Oakland's really behind the A's right now.
Yeah.
So
it's the only team that's still trying to stick around.
Yeah, and we tried to stick around too, to be fair.
That's what I'm saying.
So you guys can play Mark Davis all you want. I'm not going to get into the politics of that, but this is a Libby Schaff move. She's the reason why we're moving to Vegas, in my opinion. But I don't understand the urgency because they're not going to raise that stadium anytime soon. The arena will be sticking around for some time because they do have events there. I'm sure it'll either be renovated or gone. I wouldn't be surprised to see it stay there, watch the Oakland Coliseum get raised. They put hotels and shops in there because that's what they want to do. They want to make money 24/7.
Right.
It would make sense to have the arena there because people can come stay and attend the events there. That's a great sound system. If you ever seen a concert there, if you haven't seen one, check one out because the sound system is just incredible inside the arena. Still to this day, even if you go to a Warriors game, you can feel it. So I don't understand the urgency. If they get them out of there tomorrow, nothing changes on that lot. So,
it's just a personal thing, bro. That's what it is.
It's a grudge.
It's a grudge. It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
There's no absolute need to get the Raiders out. It's not like they have somebody else coming in that needs that spot. That's NFL season. Come on, bro. Like,
yeah,
we're the only team sharing a field with a baseball team in the NFL. Who else are you going to find that's going to say, oh, yeah, we'll do that?
We're going to do that.
Yeah, wow, I would love it. I love kicking field goals off of dirt. That sounds great.
That's a great idea. Yeah, so again, it's a personal grudge. What I expect to happen is the Raiders will remain in Oakland in 2019. A new lease will get signed. They will pay through the nose for that.
Yeah.
Mark Davis is apparently hemorrhaging cash at this point. I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, obviously, it's coming from Vegas, coming from that loan. It's coming from taxpayer money. He's done his due diligence, creating some revenue streams there. So I think most likely they're going to stay put. They're going to pay probably a pretty hefty lease in 2019. Yeah, that's what I think.
I have to agree with you, man.
But I'm just a dude.
We're just dudes.
You don't have to agree with me.
I have to agree with you because I think you're right. What do you mean? I'm not saying that you're forcing me to agree with you.
You're right. We need to get Kane on here soon so he can disagree with me.
There you go.
Yeah, we love you, Kane. But yeah, we'll be having Kane on a little bit later, and this is a better time for him too, because as he said last week, man, he's got a crazy work schedule too.
That's it, man.
He's like the opposite of me. He's getting up at the butt crack of dawn. I'm coming home late at night.
Yeah,
which is weird. I'll be making dinner at like midnight. Eating a ribeye at midnight.
You made a steak at like midnight, like 12:30 the other day. That last podcast that we did, man, you were cooking up a steak. It looked really good too, but I was like, damn,
yeah,
how you get to sleep after
that? Before we get to break here, here's my tip on a steak. Okay, here's my tip on any meat, whether you're grilling or you're pan frying. I do my steak in the cast iron unless the weather's nice and it's not midnight. Then I'll grill it outside. Don't flip your meat more than once.
Yeah.
One time.
Yep.
You fiddle them with that meat.
Yep.
You want to get those nice crosshatch marks on your meat. Fine. Lift it up. Turn it 90 degrees. Set it back down.
Right.
But it's timed out to the science. I got my ribeye, 350 degrees on the cast iron pan, dry pan, a little bit of oil, seasoned up. I got the meat press it down hard, get the nice sear, 3 minutes per side, basting it with butter the whole time.
There you go.
And then
you put a little thyme in there?
Usually
little thyme. I like to put a little thyme in
there. Usually just garlic.
Garlic and thyme, though.
Yeah, I'll hit the thyme this time.
Hit the thyme
this time.
Get the thyme in there.
And then you let that steak. The rule is beef's supposed to rest for half the time that it cooked. So I let it rest another 3 minutes while that butter in the pan cooks down. Hit it with a little bit of $2 chuck. I use cheap wine for my cooking wine.
There you go.
Let that reduce. Deglaze the pan. Pour that over the steak. Enjoy. Simple, man.
Sounds delicious, man. Let's go cook some steaks.
With that said, we're going to hit the break. When we come back, Angria Trask.
Yeah.
All right, and we're back, and we got Angria Trask on. That's her handle, not to be confused with Amy Trask. So if you're tuning in late, I don't want you guys to get it twisted and come back and be like, damn, Amy said some shit on the Pillaging Podcast this week. Seemed very out of character for her. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Amy had the same demeanor as Angria. I think both of them are very strong females, and they say what they want to say. And Angria Trask, that's why we're having you on this week, because we like your style. So welcome to the Pillaging Podcast, Angria Trask. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. How can people find you online?
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at Angria Trask, and I do some writing and editing over at the Raider Ramble.
All right. And what else do you got going? Because I know you got a project coming along. Tell us a little bit about your project.
I do. We are actually starting a new ladies-only podcast for the women of the Raiders specifically, and we are allowing guys to listen, so it's okay if you want to tune in, but we're primarily targeting the ladies who maybe don't have as much of an option for, listening to podcasts that they can relate to. So my partner, Jenny, the Chirping Raiderette, we call her Chirp, she and I are going to be starting our new show in the next couple of weeks. We've had some delays due to a couple of timing issues. She's a few hours ahead of me in time zone, unfortunately. So, but we will have that. We're going to post that up and let everybody know when we've got it up. So it should be by about the first week of June. Stay tuned.
All right. So that's exciting because I think, I was talking to you, Angry, before this all started, and you were kind of looking for a new outlet and looking for something original. And I'm glad you decided to follow through with this. And what's the name of your show going to be?
Well, we thought long and hard about it, and the thing that just struck our brains and seemed like a perfect fit was Just Win, Ladies.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's good.
I like it.
That tells you two things. It's about the Raiders.
Yeah.
And it's run by ladies.
That's right.
That's cool.
That's right.
Because there are a lot of female super diehard Raider fans out there.
Yes, there is.
And I feel like they're drastically underrepresented by the media. I think the one voice that we really have is Fallon Smith. And if you guys have listened to the show, I'm not a big fan of Fallon Smith. I think Angria can run circles around her. The one lady.
Thank you, sir.
The one lady I like on that channel is, I believe her name is Kelly Johnson.
Okay.
And she does a lot of Warriors talk. She does a show with Papa and Rado. And Kelly's a G. She can, no notes, no cue cards. She can spit it right off the top of the head. She's a badass.
There you go.
And so is Angria. So I'm glad that you're lending your voice to the Raider Nation conversation. And I'll be tuning into that. And where can people find this podcast when it launches?
We are a member of the Out of Pocket Network. So you can find us the link is on my Twitter handle, or you can just go to outofpocketnetwork.com.
Okay.
And we'll share our new episodes every week. And of course, you can find the Pillaging Podcast on there as well.
Yes, you can.
Yes, ma'am. So
Angria
did launch the Out of Pocket Sports Network along with a few of her cohorts, and we're very grateful to be a part of that. And so make sure you guys look for that. You guys have a Twitter handle yet? Are you guys on Twitter yet as a show?
Yeah, it's our show does not have anything set up yet, but you can follow us at Out of Pocket SPS.
Okay.
On Twitter, and we'll post every week. Our new episodes will go up there, and it'll go on my handle as well. And I'll share Jenny's handle. Hers is at. Oh golly, I don't even know off the top of my head. I am going to have to find it, and I will get back to you.
I'll get it for you right here.
I promise.
She's
there you go.
At Jenny_wildfan. Wildfan, one word.
There it is.
Just Lynn, baby, as I like to call her. Make sure you guys find the Out of Pocket Sports Network because it's a sports network, surprisingly, shockingly. And there's some other shows on there. They're non-Raider related. You got I know you guys have an MMA show that's pretty popular. That's a good show.
Yep.
And then
that's called Coming At You.
Coming At You, and
yep.
no homo. And then
no homo.
Not that there's anything wrong with
that.
We
need a show. We can find a show for that too, though, if we need to. I mean, we want to cover everybody's interests. That's what we're going for.
There you go.
All inclusive. It's 2018. It's time to get out there.
Absolutely.
You don't want to assume anything. And then also the other popular show on that network is there's a Viking show. So if you just want to check out another NFL show, and I know they're a little more broad too. They cover the NFL as well. So
they branch out a little bit more.
We may have to get together and do like an out-of-pocket all-star show someday.
That'd be dope.
And have you guys on, have the Viking guys on, and just kind of do an all-NFL episode.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Maybe quarterly, maybe halfway through the season or something. I don't know. We're just spitballing here on the air. I'm trying to create more work for Angria.
Right. She's like, that sounds great. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Yeah, don't mention it. So tell me a little bit about your co-host. How'd you find her?
Jenny actually was referred to me by another writer, Chris Reed, who I'm sure a lot of people follow.
Yeah.
He has been around a little bit, so he's bounced around from several different agencies, so people probably know his work pretty broadly. And he actually referred me to her. I got in touch with her and asked her, what she thought about doing that, and she was really excited about it. We got along really well. We clicked right away, and I talked to her on the phone shortly after we chatted on Twitter first, and she's very chill and laid back, and we have a very similar kind of personalities and very similar sense of humor. So no offense to anything. It's great. I can say whatever the hell I want. She shoots right back at me. It's the perfect relationship.
That's good. All right.
Yeah.
What else? How a relationship should be.
What also makes it a perfect relationship is you guys are 3 time zones away.
Yeah. It certainly helps with the fighting aspect.
The Dakota Raider just says he loves him some Raider chicks. Silver and black is just straight sexy. Shout out to your wife, Dakota Raider. Shout out to your wife. Let's not get out of pocket, Dakota.
All right, yeah.
Jazz in trouble right now.
You guys are a mess. Oh my gosh.
So, Angria, how long have you been?
It's gonna be terrible.
How long have you been podcasting? I know you had a show prior to this. How long have you been podcasting, and what got you into it?
About a year and a half ago, I started. I reached out and started writing about the NFL, and I first wrote about the Lions. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of good friends doing that, even though it's not my team. But it was an opportunity. It got me in the door, and then I got to writing for some other sports outlets about the Raiders, and I met my partner Phil Robinson, who we were doing a show, and that has since kind of been disbanded because he's gone off on a more like a debate-like show that covers a little bit more broader spectrum of sports. And we started that a little over a year ago. So it's just been a little over a year, and I love it. It's been great. I have a lot of fun. Nice to interact with people and, just get to broaden your horizons and broaden your fan base and your friend base and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and you guys were actually nice enough to have me on that show, so I appreciate it. I'm glad to return the favor, and we'll be having Phil Robinson on here, I think next week. Yeah. He's on the calendar for next week, so finally getting back to have you guys on the show. But we do book the show out usually 2-3 months in advance. So we finally cleared the calendar, and we'll be doing a Ramble spotlight. So those of you that are listening right now, Angria Trask is a member of the Raider Ramble. She does a lot of editing work over there. She also does a lot of writing. We'll be talking about that soon. But this next 4 or 5 weeks or so is going to be a spotlight on the Ramble. So I have a few of their writers on. We've had Mario on, the founder of Raider Ramble, before. He's been a great guest. And so welcome to the show, Angria, again in your now Raider Ramble outfit. Let's talk a little bit about that. How you've been working with the Ramble for how long now?
Actually, it'll be about a year coming up here pretty soon. Mario approached me early last year after I had kind of gotten my name out with a couple of other places, and excuse me, and we ended up crossing paths on Twitter. And of course, Phil Robinson and I met through another outlet, and he knew Mario. He was one of the first writers with Mario on the Ramble. So we kind of got interconnected, and he asked me if I wanted to come on board, and then shortly asked me if I was interested in editing. And it's been a great relationship. It's been wonderful. The guys over at the Ramble are fantastic. We're a nice, happy family, and I really appreciate the content that the guys put out over there.
Yeah, it's nice to have another independent site out there, which is great because you get some, I won't say unbiased takes because everyone's pretty much a Raiders fan, but they are. I mean, they're clear. They say it the way it is. They're not trying to meet any clickbait goals or anything like that. They're not getting paid by advertisers. It's pretty straightforward. It's a great unfiltered look of Raiders coverage. So I'm happy to be a member of that family, even though I haven't really produced much lately. Schedule's been crazy. Podcast's taken a big chunk of my time, but I look forward to producing some more for that. You do a fantastic job editing, but you're also a writer, and you've mentioned that several times already. So recently I noticed you've gone on a run of doing some historical pieces on the Oakland Raiders. What's been your favorite part of that so far?
I really love researching and learning more about not just the Raiders, but more about football history. So it's really neat going back and looking at all these old classic games and classic situations and things that have happened in the course of the Raiders' history that really lend to the NFL. And it's a lot of fun just getting to know where everything fits in. And there's a reason that we are a dynasty. There's a reason that the Raiders organization is so impactful and so important to the NFL. And there's a reason that all of your analysts say the NFL is relevant, or the NFL is better when the Raiders are relevant. Yeah. Because it really is. Because this is one of the most classic and important dynasties in the football world. It really is.
Yeah, I liken the Raiders almost to the Yankees of baseball. It's very, whether you like them or not, it's very difficult to have a conversation about Major League Baseball without mentioning the Yankees. It's true. The Lakers in basketball, or the Celtics.
That's right.
They're all important to the image, the look, the feel, and the history of their respective leagues. The Raiders being the same. And I think there's a couple other teams that you can throw in there, the Green Bay Packers being one of them. I would even argue the Bears, just because they're as old as the Packers, and that rivalry is arguably the oldest rivalry in the NFL. And the Raiders are definitely in that mix. The Pittsburgh Steelers are definitely in that mix. And you can make an argument for a few other teams as well. During this run of historical pieces, what's been your favorite piece that you've written so far?
Well, I have a few that are still pending to come out, so those are TBD. But I think the most fun I had writing so far was, it had to be about Lester Hayes and the Stickum. Just going back and looking through some of the history of what he did and how he used it and how it really was not illegal. So they made a lot of rules for the Raiders, and they made a lot of rules because of the Raiders, but they weren't rules before the Raiders tried it. I mean, historically, this team is like the toddlers of the NFL, sort of. Like, they're going to go up and they're going to touch something, and if they don't get their hands smacked away, well, that's on you.
Right.
It's like having a cat, Anybody who has a cat knows exactly what I'm talking about. That cat's going to try you and try you and try you until you put something up that says they can't do that.
Shay's got a cat.
I had a cat. He's
you
since
know exactly what I'm
moved
talking
out.
about then, Shay.
Yeah, he was always getting into whatever the hell he wanted, and then he look at you like, "What's your problem? This is my house."
Exactly. There's no barrier here. That means it's mine. I can do whatever I want with it.
Yep.
And I think that our team is like the cats of the NFL. I mean, we just try it, and until they put up a block or a leash or something that says this is not your area, stay in your lane, then it's not against the rules. It's really not. So everybody can credit. Thank you very much for the no-kick-em rule. You're welcome. Thank you very much for the racial barriers that we've dropped down. You're welcome.
That's right.
And for the gender barriers we've dropped down. You're welcome.
That's right.
Yeah. And then the fumble forward rule from the Holy Roller.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
There we go. That one's coming up. Just stay tuned. That one's coming up.
All right, cool. I was going to jump on that, but I'm glad you are. I'm going to probably jump in that historical lane with you. So off the air, we need to get together and talk about what you've covered, what you want to cover, and what's left for me. Because I'm an old head.
With some old heads.
So I want to jump in the pool with you. Metaphorical pool, of course. You live in Alaska, so you live in Alaska. Not a lot of pools up there.
Yeah. Unless you want to do a polar bear plunge, I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm straight. I'm good.
No.
Let's talk about that. You live in Alaska. Do you see other Raiders fans up there?
Oh yeah, totally. It seems like I see Raiders fans or lots of Seahawks fans.
Interesting.
But we have a pretty good mix. I mean, it's not as much as you'd like, but I see cars all over the road, Raider stickers, flags, bumper stickers, whatever it is. And it's kind of like one of those moments where you want to look at them, just nod, like, yep, I know, yep.
Yeah.
You and me, Betty. But we have a pretty good mix up here, so
yeah, that's good.
It's nice.
The Raider Nation, man, we're everywhere. We're in Alaska, bro.
It's the nation, bro.
That's right.
It's part of the nation.
Do you think the NFL, in an attempt to branch out, will ever try to do a game in Alaska?
Oh, God, no. No way. Not a chance.
Nice outdoor game in the middle of December.
Yeah. That'd be the worst game ever played,
set it
bro.
up in the middle of 60 below Fairbanks. That would be fine.
Wow. Worst game or best game?
Just played in a hockey rink.
Could be. that would go either way.
Man, that would be wild. Wild. Well, great, Angria. So you say you're going to be launching the show sometime first week of June. If you don't mind me asking, what's the holdup?
What the holdup is has been, well, my co-host is a little new at this, so I'm easing her in. We've got to do some practice. We've got to do some testing. So it's just kind of all the pre-production stuff that we've got to get ready to go and, get comfortable with segmenting and stuff like that. So, and then of course she's a mom and she's getting ready for a wedding. She's engaged, so she's getting ready for a wedding. She's got family and other things. So it's, moms' lives are just, we can't get 5 minutes to ourselves.
Well,
This is true. I got vouch for you.
If she takes as long getting ready for that wedding as she is getting ready for this podcast, I feel for dude, because that may never happen.
It'll be okay.
Reaffirming the stereotype that it takes a long time for women to get ready.
It's true, but I'm not gonna say that because I take a long time to get ready too. So
I know you were late to get today, bro.
Yeah, that is not specific.
What's my excuse?
I'm just playing. That was an easy shot. That was a low blow. But I wish you guys the best of luck because I think that there's a lot of Raiders podcasts out there. Again, I've always said it's not competition, it's conversation.
That's right.
And I think that the female voice is a very important part of that. Also, there's a lot of ladies that they're fans, maybe because their dude is a fan. And I'm not saying that there's not ladies that are just fans. There are. I mean,
Right.
that's where we're at now. They've grown up with
Obviously.
it. There's daddy's girls. They grow up in a football household.
My baby girl's gonna be like that.
Yes. I
She's
saw
gonna
her,
know all about the Raiders.
saw her rocking the car jersey.
That's right.
But the thing is there's a lot of casual female fans out there that don't know how to enter into the conversation. And I think the idea of listening to a couple dudes talk about the team for 2 hours, maybe not so appealing to them, not quite as relatable. And so to have that sort of, you guys open the doorway to that conversation, I think it's just, even though the conversation may not be different, because you guys know what you're talking about, right? You guys are Raider fans. You guys are professionals. It's, I think, seeing other people that look like you do it make it that much more accessible.
That's right.
And sort of listener friendly to them. Say, oh, this is my portal. This is how I get in. So
Right.
I think that's cool.
Perspective is a huge deal. Yeah, I think it definitely makes a difference when you can relate to the people that you're listening to or you're talking to or you're watching.
Yeah.
The perspective is a huge deal. And having something, when you and I first talked about it, I have to give you credit, Kenny, because this was something that you brought up to me initially, and I love the idea. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a very important thing to have. I think it's a nice medium to be able to do something like this and to be able to spread it to, whoever wants to listen. And the casual lady fans, great. And the guys who don't think women know anything about football, great. Listen in. We'll give you a little education.
Yeah,
there you go.
I like it. And like I said, I made that comment not because you guys are going to dumb it down. That's not going to happen, right? No. But it's just that female voice. Here's somebody that's just like me doing this. This is where I get in. And maybe it opens up the doors to more. And, it's just football is one of those sports. It's very confusing when it comes down to the rules, the strategy. It's a lot to digest. It's different if you're male or female casual sports fan trying to break into a new sport and watch it. Basketball, it's fairly easy. You start getting into the fouls and stuff, but really it's putting the ball in the hoop. It's 2 points from here, it's 3 points from there, and then you learn as you go. Baseball can be a little bit intimidating. There's a lot more going on than you realize. If you don't realize, it's kind of slow. I see a lot of female hockey fans here in the Bay Area.
That's right.
And again, I think hockey, has some kind of odd rules, learning offsides, learning what all the face-offs are for and what's going on. But essentially, it's putting the puck in the net. It's a lot of action. It's fast-paced. It's different. Just trying to explain down and distance to a casual fan. It's like, what? Why? So I'm glad you guys are kind of, again, opening that door, that portal, that window for some casual fans to get in there that may or may not be intimidated by a male-dominated media. Let's just face it.
It's true.
Yeah.
So it's good to have some female voices on the air that actually know what they're talking about. Shout out to Fallon Smith. Yeah. So I'm gonna get a letter in the mail. You're
gonna get a bomb or something.
Nah.
Please cease and desist.
Yeah. I don't know. She might plant a bomb in one of those fake boobs and send it to me. That
See, that's right there. That is why we need female voices. Because when you get off talking about titty cakes and stuff, we don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea.
Titty cakes. Okay, so for those of you that didn't get the episode where I went on the Phil and Angria show in the past, we were talking about Miko Grimes, and part of Miko Grimes' claim to fame is that she bakes titty cakes. She bakes pornographic cakes, and that's what I meant by titty cakes. Angria wasn't a condescending
it took me a little
comment.
while. You had to explain that to me initially, though, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of the guys probably know what it is.
Yeah,
I don't look at porn cakes.
I don't either. It was in the news. That was a risky pick to send in the DM. I'm going to send this just to explain what I was talking about.
Right.
It was one of those, you hit the send button and you're like,
this might make things worse.
But Angria, God bless you. Not easily offended. Another reason why you're on the show today.
Yeah.
Another reason why you're the perfect host for the Just Win Ladies.
All right.
podcast.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we like your sense of humor. We like the way you roll. But before we let you go, I would be remiss if I did not ask you how you became a Raiders fan.
Well, I was born a Raiders fan. I had no choice in the matter. I was raised in a Raiders household, like you mentioned earlier. You get raised as a daddy's girl in a football household, and actually it was my grandmother who brought the Raiders in because she was from Santa Ana, California. And when she moved up to Alaska, Big Al was just taking over the franchise, and she brought a little bit of home with her up to Alaska. Oh. So we got to watch whatever games they would put on. She'd watch football no matter what it was. But we were raised that you like the Raiders or you get out of my house. That's the bottom line.
That's right. I like that.
I'm sure the neighbors will take you in.
I think it was Juice had a similar story, right? His dad said you can root for any team you want as long as it's the Oakland Raiders, basically.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's good parenting right there.
Yeah.
That's good parenting.
Yes.
Yes. Guidance. It's guidance.
Angria, have you been to a home game yet? And if you haven't, do you have plans to do so before they leave Oakland?
I do want to go. My son is going to be a senior this year. He's going to be graduating early, actually, and he's 18 in September. So I would like to take him to a home game. I've never been to one myself either, but I'm not going to let him listen to this because that's going to be his birthday and graduation gift, I think.
That'll be a great graduation present.
Hell yeah.
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 So if you guys come out this way, let us know. Che and I are most home games. We try to get out there. We're going to be broadcasting this year. So maybe you can join us for a little tailgate broadcast. Bring your son by, say a couple words. We're out there in D-Lot. So make sure you hit me up while you're planning that trip because I could try to make that easy on you logistically and kind of give you the ins and outs of some of the shortcuts and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for coming on the show again, Angria.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. And thanks for getting our show out and getting us some buzz going. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So just a quick reminder, you can follow her at Angria Trask and, of course, at Jenny_Wildfan. And to catch the show when it comes out, make sure you go to the Out of Pocket Sports Network. That's Out of Pocket SPS, I believe, on Twitter. And we're on there as well. So make sure you follow Out of Pocket. Check out some of the other shows. Help us out with some retweets. Help them out get started with some retweets. And let's boost these listens, Angria. I want you guys to debut with a bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
And I wish you guys...
3 shots right out the gate.
I wish you guys the best of luck. Make sure you pass that on to Jenny as well. And, get it together, guys. We're waiting over here.
Yeah, we will. I'll let her know we gotta do it now.
Okay. I like the idea of launching on Mother's Day, but that's past.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get it in time for Father's Day.
Maybe. Yes, that's a good idea.
All right. Well, you have a good evening up there in Alaska, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good conversation.
Yeah, it was great.
Angria's got great spirit. Oh, there's a bird in my window. Oh, it just left. It was trying to get on the show. No Seahawks allowed on this show.
Get the hell out of here, Seahawks fans.
But yeah, so we're going to be hitting the break here soon. What do you think? You going to listen to the show?
Of course, man.
You check it out.
The more the merrier, right? We're all family up in here, man. So more Raider fans, more Raider fan shows. I don't hear nobody complaining.
No, I'm not.
You complaining?
No.
I ain't complaining.
Nope. I see a lot of our listeners, they listen to other shows too. And I've seen some podcasts, I'm not going to mention any names, touting to be the best out there.
Yeah.
Why are you listening to any other show?
Right.
Because a good fan does that. You don't see websites saying, don't go read articles over at Silver and Black Pride, just stay here.
Right.
As a fan, you're out there trying to consume everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's multifaceted. You're trying to get all the different opinions.
It's all related to your team, man, and that's all that matters, right? So there shouldn't be anybody telling you to stop listening or stop looking at another site.
Yeah.
Stop listening to this show or just listen to my show. If they're doing that, then maybe that's not the show you should be listening to.
and Raider fans are ravenous, right? They're trying to consume everything they can about their team. So while some of the Raider fans specialize on knee-jerk reactions, I would say as a whole, in general, Raider Nation's pretty clued in. I don't, regardless of what your opinion is or what you're saying, I think a lot of Raider fans are out there reading a lot and trying to educate themselves on the team, and trying to educate others that maybe are, I don't want to call them casual fans, but they're not sports readers,
Yep.
They may not be podcast listeners, you know what I mean? So I don't care if you're listening to other shows. I don't care if you're reading other websites. As long as we're up in your mix, I'm grateful.
And if you got some information that we don't got, then call in, man. That's part of it.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
let's take a break.
That's right.
Listen to our callers.
There you go.
Great segue, Che. All right, and we'll catch you guys on the other side. Those of you on YouTube, hang in there. You get to hear the callers first. Yep.
Yeah.
Give us some of your takes, but we'll see you guys on the other side. We out you.
Peace.
Go Raiders.
What's up, guys? It's Checker at Only One Checker Twitter handle. Just wanted to call in and say I really like the show. I appreciate the hard work you guys are doing out there sweating on your driveway to bring us some awesome Raider content. I tweeted out to you guys the other day about the burger conversation that you guys continually have on the show. I like it. I like it as a part of the show. And I'm just going to chime in with my top 5 burgers of all time, commercial burgers only. And then I'll have 2 bonus burger joints that are in the Bay Area. Coming in at number 5, In-N-Out Burger. It is a little overrated, but it's decent. Number 4, Nations. But tell them to hold the lettuce. You don't want the whole head of lettuce on the burger, but it is a good burger. Number 3, Habit Burger. Habit Burger is pretty tasty. You can watch them make it. It's fresh. It's always good condiments. Habit Burger, pretty awesome. Number 2. Coming in, I'm going to shock some people here. Wendy's, the single or the double Dave's Burger is an awesome burger. Fresh, of course, but the mixture of the pickles and the cheese, pretty awesome. And they got a pretty good bun. And then number 1, I got the Five Guys Burger. Five Guys Burger is a pretty awesome burger joint. You can get your burgers however you want them. They're always fresh, good condiments, lettuce is crispy, combination of everything, pretty good. My 2 bonus burger joints. Up here in Napa, you guys come out to training camp or whatever, walk across the street, go to Squeezin' Burger. Phenomenal burger. They got an abundance of cheese all over the burger with some pickles on a different style of bun. They grill it up in front of you. You can fold the cheese over in the burger. Very tasty. And then number 2 on the bonus one, this one's for Kane. Red Onion Burger. Kane, I know you're out there, burger connoisseuring, traveling, eating burgers everywhere, even the house burger. But the Red Onion Burger is an East Bay staple. If you haven't had one, you definitely got to try it. Nice, greasy, cheesy burger. They got them in the town. They got them in Richmond, San Pablo. I didn't even think there's one in Berkeley. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Really appreciate the hard work on the show. I love it. It's really catching on. I'm telling everybody that I know about it. And look forward to the next podcast. Raider Nation, let's go.
What's up, Kenny? What's up, Che? What's up, Pillagers? It's your boy, Jen. Man, I was just reading over, some articles and came across this article that some asshat of a governor candidate for the state of Nevada says, if I get elected, I'll go back on our word that we gave the Oakland Raiders and force them to come back to the negotiating table. I can't take away the $750 million that you citizens have already agreed through vote to get these fools. But what I can do is decide not to build any infrastructure improvements to the stadium that they already have under construction. So if they don't come back to the bargaining table, they could either A, build their stadiums with no roads, or B, come holler at us. Bro, this is a lot to take in. This article that's shocking. Now, to me, this is a dumb move by a candidate because obviously people in Las Vegas, at least the way I hear it, are looking forward to the Raiders coming. So that's a good way to not get yourself voted to go ahead as the governor, is to go ahead and overplay your hand a little too early, pal. Hopefully it works out that way. He don't get elected. Wouldn't that be a disaster? your boy Jen. I love the Raiders. I love y'all Pillagers. Holla at you. Go.
Hey, good morning there, Pillagers. Buddy Just Fire Baby out here somewhere in a hotel room, hungover, calling in at 5 in the morning. Groundhog Day. I wanted to call in, and we're going to flip it here a little bit. We're going to talk about a weird thing that can hang over this season that really nobody's really talking about, and that is this relocation. Listen, we're moving to Las Vegas in 2020. We all know that. Stadium's going to be complete. There's going to be no issues. But what happens in 2019? We ain't got a decision yet. We don't know what's going to happen in 2019. And listen, if we've learned anything through this whole process, what's not going to happen is the NFL, the city of Oakland, Mark Davis, the Raiders, they all meet, have a nice clean meeting, meet somewhere in the middle, shake hands, and everyone's happy. That's not going to happen. We all know that. So what is going to happen? We don't know. And look, Mark Davis has a shoulder to cry on in the NFL. If he doesn't want to play in Oakland in 2019, the NFL will listen to him. Because, see, the NFL voted 31-1. Not 97% of the owners didn't vote to add Las Vegas to the city of NFL. 97% of the owners voted to get out of the city of Oakland business. They're just done with it. They've been dealing with it for 30 years. So what does that mean? Well, they got to make a decision here pretty soon about where they're going to play in 2019. That could get announced in the middle of the season. What if we're 4-4 and they announce, guess what? These next 2 home games, that's it. 2019, we're playing a month in London. We'll get 2 road games, 1 home game there, play 3 or 4 games in Levi's to start the year. It could be a total shit show. And what's going to happen with the team? Well, we got 2 ways we can go. It could be like the movie Major League, right? Remember that? Everyone hates the owner, hates everybody, and everyone just rallies in the locker room, all the players, this is us, let's go win one, and that could happen. Absolutely could happen. It could be a rallying cry. But it could go the other way, too. What if we can go 4-4 and then it's just announced we're not playing in Oakland anymore, fans are pissed, no home field advantage, and they can just end up 5-11. I mean, it could go sideways quick or be a real rallying cry, and it's going to happen. Now, if they announce that they play in Oakland in 2019, I think that might be a breath of fresh air for everyone in the locker room, and then maybe that could help them rally too as well. So, I mean, this is there's a fork in the road, proverbially, that's going to kind of take place here. And we're going to need some real leaders on this team in one direction or the other. I mean, look, Derek Carr is a deeply fantastic young man, religious, family-wise, all that stuff. I'd probably vote Derek Carr as number 1 on planet Earth to be my neighbor. But is he a number 1 alpha dog in the locker room? Not yet. I mean, there's still plenty of time. But that's might have to really happen this year. If we got all this bizarre relocation stuff hanging over, the bizarreness of this Gruden McKenzie, I mean, there's a lot going on. And so, it's very easy if we're 4-5 or 5-5, the guys are free agents at the end of the year, to just kind of, we all seen it in sports, go through the motions, start playing at the end of the year. We need Derek to get someone's face. Is he that dude? Is he that dude to tell Bruce Irvin or tell Donald Penn or tell these guys, man, enough of next year. Now, bro, now. We'll see. Go Raiders.
What up, Kenny, Che? It's G-Paw Raider from Colorado. Just calling to let you know that this is my favorite podcast. I get all my information from this or my son, because everything I do is voice activated. I really need this. So keep it up. Kane 303. Let's go Raider Nation. Give me all you got. Let's go. Just win, baby. And I'm out.
Kenny, Che, what's up, guys? It's fucking WAP. Man, not much really going on. I think we just picked up an offensive lineman from Denver. Big white guy I saw. I didn't get his name, but I just saw him. He was a big dude. But, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next, few months, just to see how the roster's going to change. For me, I think a lot of the cornerback vets are going to be staying around. I don't see Hall leaving. I see Lemur staying. There's a lot of people that I see staying pretty on top. So for me, I'm looking forward to it. I think everyone that, even if they come back and they're not liked, they're gonna at least, you're gonna know that they earned their spot on that team. So either way, I'm just looking forward to seeing how the defense looks. I know the offense is good, but the defense I'd like to see. So it's just like, damn. They have some pictures on there of Martavius Bryant catching a pass with one hand. Ooh. Fuck, and then that Arden Hall, he's bending in the corner like a son of a bitch, dude. That thing is bad. We got a bad looking team. I'm looking forward to it. Alright, man, that's my little bit. You guys, peace.
What's up, Kenny? What's up, Che? Happy Sunday. It's your boy 303, calling from cold, wet Colorado. What's up, guys? Well, Raider take. What can we talk about? Let's talk about getting Khalil Mack signed. Last year, I think a lot of us were, I wouldn't say complaining, but nervous about Derek Carr when he was going to get signed. So if Reggie follows suit, I think what was that, late June, early July, so it's going to get done. He's going to be a Raider. It's not going to be an issue. I think Raider Nation should be extremely excited right now. I mean, it's not, it's not so much as drinking the Kool-Aid, it's just looking at, what's been going on since, first of all, getting Carr an offensive coach, getting Carr a coach that should be with him for 4, 5, 6 years. Carr has the same system. What does Carr have, like 4 head coaches and 3 offensive coordinators in his 4 professional years or whatever it is? Quarterbacks need stability. The best ones have it. We've got it now with Gruden. And you know what? We've upgraded a lot of positions. There's no doubt about it. But it's all about Derek Carr. I mean, as far as going far, making the playoffs, winning games in the playoffs, it's all about number 4. So as long as he's healed mentally and physically, looks like the O-line, especially the tackle position, will be upgraded once we figure out, is Penn coming back, is Colton starting at right tackle, what's going on. But there's nothing but to be optimistic, in my opinion. On another note, it is game 3 of the Western Conference Finals in Oracle. Tonight it's all about Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond. We're not going to win this series with KD scoring 40 playing ISO one-on-one ball. We can get that from him whenever we want, but it's all about the free-flowing offense that we've learned to love since Steve Kerr came in 2015. So it's all about Chef and the Splash Brothers and Draymond getting their game on. Anyways, boys, enjoy the week. Enjoy Sunday. This is 303, and I'm out.
Yo, Kenny and Che. This is Don calling from Queens. This is a slow time in Raider Nation, but I guess we gotta find something to do. I'm watching old reruns on the NFL channel. Gruden's gonna bring us some competition, gonna prove the world wrong that we're gonna finish last in the division. So let's try to get this Super Bowl and keep it PG. Wink, wink. I'll let y'all later. Peace.
And we're back. Just listen to some of your calls. We're going to run through those real quick. Checker, first of all, thanks for the love, man. We appreciate it. Just full clarification. We actually weren't doing the show in the driveway, but maybe we should look into that.
Yeah.
Especially as it gets warmer.
If it gets a little hot. It gets hot up in here, man.
Yeah, I might get some new fans.
Gilroy ain't the coolest town.
Especially in July. Ooh.
In NorCal.
Maybe
it's hot.
Garlic Festival runs through Sunday. Maybe we set up outside for that.
Set up shop at the Garlic Festival?
Yeah, we're just right here. I'm across the street, so we get folks up and down the street.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Maybe pick up some new listeners. Maybe get the ice cream man involved. Heard the ice cream truck go by earlier before we got on the air. Let's go over your top 5 list. So number 5 on your list was In-N-Out. I'm not mad at that being number 5. Like I said, it's not the end all be all burger.
No, it's a great beer. It's a great burger. Yeah. I almost said beer, but it's a great burger.
It's a great burger to have with beer.
You could have, it's a great burger to have with beer. That's exactly what it is.
But it's a solid burger. It's consistent. Nations, hold the lettuce. That's a good point, hold the lettuce. They put a lot of lettuce on their burger.
When he said that, he said head of lettuce, and I was thinking, I just ate a burger. I want to say I just ate a burger where we're like, man, that's a pretty good burger. I could have done without the cheap lettuce, but it's all right because everything else made up for it. But I can't even think of where I ate.
Yeah.
I can't even think of it. So when it comes to me,
Yeah.
I might have to throw it out there.
I started getting my burgers plain, like from In-N-Out, like a while ago, because I just feel like you just taste more of the burger.
Yeah.
You got too much action on the burger, takes away from the burger. But lettuce is good for that crunch, right? And the Habit Burger, we haven't mentioned Habit Burger, which I think is a SoCal franchise. I think that's now made its way up here.
Yeah, there's a few of them scattered around.
They're good burgers.
Yeah,
they're really fresh. You can get avocado on your burger there. Unlike In-N-Out, which was a April Fool's joke. I think we had mentioned on the show that they're putting avocado on the burger. It's not happening. I got juked by that, but yeah.
I was all, oh really?
The Habit Burger's good. They also they'll make my burger protein style for me, which fits my keto lifestyle. Wendy's coming in at number 3 was shocking to some, but Wendy's does not have freezers on the premises. Their burgers are also fresh, much like In-N-Out. I know you have an issue with the square burger.
Square patties, man. I don't trust them.
I feel like you're getting a little bit more burger. You get 4 extra corners on that burger.
I mean, you have a point. You make a good point there. But it's something unnatural about a burger shaped square. It's just unnatural, bro.
That's how they get you. That's their signature. I go with the Baconator myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Wendy's though. It's a good burger. Their fries, trash. Fries are terrible.
You know what? I used to like their chicken nuggets, man, back in the day. Back when I was young, though. Young.
They had a spicy chicken nugget for a minute. It was like red, probably completely unhealthy, but it was pretty good. I think they might have brought them back. They were like $1.25.
That was the other bonus part, right? Was that they were way cheaper,
super cheap
than McDonald's nuggets.
Yeah,
man.
It's like $1. You get 4 of them.
Yep.
And then lastly, you had number 1, Five Guys. I've always said Five Guys is like In-N-Out on steroids. It's a big burger. He's right. You can get it any way you want.
Yep.
If you've never been to a Five Guys, it's a little intimidating because when you walk in the door, they like yell at you.
Yeah.
We got another one. Just like leave. I don't know. It's have your order ready when you get to the front. That's all I can say.
Right.
And you get the free peanuts.
Free peanuts, man. All you can eat peanuts, man.
Yeah.
It's strange, but
it's cool.
It works. It works somehow.
Do you just put your shells on the floor? Is that how you do it?
I mean, usually you get the peanuts in that little container, so I just recycle them back in there, and then I just throw everything. You know, I'm a neat person.
Right, me too.
I like to keep things neat.
Tidy. I do enjoy, though. I go to the sports bar here downtown. And they got...
Just chucking them.
Yeah.
Just throwing them on the floor. They sweep it up later on that night, right? Yeah.
We got the peanut barrel.
The other thing that they do is they provide you with like your own additive seasoning for your fries.
Oh, yeah.
So you just got like a little cup, and you just sprinkle on as much or as little as you want.
Speaking of fries, a weird fry that's out there is the Wingstop fry, which I'm pretty much sure they put a lot of sugar on their fry. I don't know how I feel about their fries, bro. I don't know.
It's a good point.
It's a little odd. I usually just get the wings, some celery
sugar.
sticks.
Don't put no sugar.
Little blue. Are you blue cheese or ranch on your wings?
I like blue cheese, man.
Yeah.
I like blue cheese.
Yeah, me too.
I'm into the blue cheese.
And then your bonus burgers, the squeeze-in burger. So the squeeze-in burger originated in Sacramento. A friend of mine lives upstairs from the squeeze-in burger. It's got to be really tempting. But yes, what they do is they pile on just way too much cheese while it's on the flat top. And then they put a metal mixing bowl over the top of that. And then the steam melts the cheese. And then you get this large cheese skirt around the burger. And if you like fried, like hard cheese that sticks to the pan.
That's the good stuff.
That's the burger for you.
That's the stuff if you make burgers at home and you get some of that cheese on the pan, you're always trying to scrape off.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes your pans ain't that high quality.
Yeah.
The Teflon is already worn off or so whatever it is. So it's all stuck there. You're sitting there scratching it off with the spatula just to put it on top.
I've always wondered what makes the Teflon stick to the pan.
Overuse, harsh scrubbing.
No, to begin with, it's a non-stick material. How does it stick to the pan?
I don't know.
Things make you go,
Teflon, you bullshitter.
And then the red onion burger, which I can't speak to, but I will bring that up to Kane as he comes on here shortly. But the way you describe it sounds like it should be in your top 5.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And I like red onions.
I do too.
Yes, sir.
I do too. I put them in my ceviche. Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Now we're talking.
Good call by Gent. I had not read this article about the gubernatorial candidate in Nevada looking to block the Raiders It's a good way to lose the election.
It is a good way, huh?
I think his campaign slogan is "Just win, maybe."
That's a good one.
So
maybe.
Yeah, and then they did just announce the Raiders license plate. Looks like I'm moving to Nevada.
Right.
Looks like I'm moving out there.
Right.
Because I want a Raiders license.
I want a license plate too, man. Let's go. We're just gonna. We might get arrested this next when the Raiders move out there. You can catch me and Kenny stealing license plates off the back of people's cars.
And my cousin lives in Nevada. Just saying. And then
We're still in his license plate.
well, hers, but
Or hers.
her dad, my uncle, it actually worked for GM. So maybe I can get my car registered out there. I don't know.
There you go. Hey.
Though I drive a Mazda. I don't know. JFB, great call as always, very thought provoking. So this kind of plays into what we mentioned in the first segment. We're going to talk about this with Kane because we were talking to him during the break and he has a lot of insight on this. I really like his thoughts about this. But what is going to happen in 2019? We won't spend a lot of time on this right now because we already did, and we're going to spend more time on it.
Yep.
But if you skip past the caller section, if you're listening to the show, go back and listen to what JFB said about this because I think he laid it out really well. But I do want to talk about Carr. I don't think he's ever going to be the alpha dog, man. I think he is on the field. I see him getting in guys' faces. I think when he's in the moment, he's fired up. Mm-hmm. I'm just speculating because I'm not in the locker room. Maybe he listens to this show and he's thinking, this guy's a clown. But I think more than anything, Carr's a peacekeeper. He's the guy that's going to try to pull everyone together. And now there's value in that. Yeah. But who is the guy that's going to get in people's faces? That guy's John Gruden.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. That's why that's the argument why they make the perfect combo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And they do seem to vibe off of each other, but I think that Gruden is going to be that guy. Now, do you want a player to be that guy? You do. Mm-hmm. But I don't really see who that guy is on the roster.
Well, but you know what? At the same time, maybe that's what Carr needs in order to become that guy. Maybe he needs somebody in his face like Gruden has been known to do on occasion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To kind of bring that out of him, right?
Yeah.
And I think Gruden has always welcomed that.
Yeah.
He's always welcomed some fight back, some arguments, especially from the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? So he's looking for that. He's looking for somebody to say, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're just going to run over me.
The last guy we had like that was probably Rich Gannon.
Yep.
And him and Gruden would get into it all the time.
All the time.
But yeah, maybe he needs to sit Carr down and be like, I'll tell you what, man. I need you to start lighting fires under asses, all right?
I like that. I like that.
You need to get fired up, man.
That's right.
It's wild.
What do you think? This is a game? Say the game.
But, I just don't wait around for Carr to be that guy in the locker room. I think he's just more of a peacekeeper. But who knows? Like Trey just said, Gruden maybe is the difference maker. G-Paw Raider from Colorado. You don't sound like Grandpa. You sound very young.
Yeah, you do. You sound young, man.
Yeah, you got a good voice. Hey, don't rely on us completely for all your information. Just saying.
But we appreciate it. We appreciate that you trust in us.
Yeah. But we like that, man. Thanks for the support, and definitely lean on your kid. Sounds like he's well informed.
There you go.
And hopefully he listens to the show too. But wherever you get your info from, like we said earlier, as long as it's Raiders related.
That's right.
That's all that matters. But thanks for the love, G-Paw Raider. Keep listening, keep calling in. We appreciate your calls. Raider Wop, a little quiet on the call. Hopefully by now I've boosted the volume, and if you've listened to it, you can hear the call. But Raider Wop likes the competition. He's like us, waiting for the cream to rise to the top. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for the defense.
Yes.
Are you excited?
We're all excited for the defense.
Yeah.
I think we all know what we have on the offensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. We know that it could be very explosive. It could be just like it was in 2016 or better.
Yeah.
Right? We expect better.
Mm-hmm.
But we're excited about the defense because we haven't had a defense.
Right.
Right? So that's where we should be excited. We should be excited about the new additions, about the defensive scheme that's going to change up.
Right.
We should be just expecting a lot better than what we've had.
Yeah.
For sure.
Got a bona fide coordinator now.
Yep.
You know, top 5 pass defense, routinely in the league, top 5 defense, top 10 defense. He's up there. He's in the mix and got a legitimate scheme now. I couldn't even tell you what Ken Norton's scheme was.
Yeah.
Because it just didn't seem like much of a scheme. When you got your corners routinely playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, that's not a scheme to win games, bro.
Yeah.
That's like a bend, don't break, prevent kind of scheme.
Yeah.
I know it's more complicated than that. We're not going to go into that, but I like Gunther. I like the way he disguises coverage. I like the way he forces quarterbacks to guess.
Yep.
You know, he's good that way. That's what you are as a defensive coordinator. Is you're a gambler, right? You don't want to show your poker face. You want to give your opponent something to think about.
Yep.
You want to. It's a lot of misdirection. Right, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and that's the guy that we have now. And this guy's been vetted out by Gruden. You know, Gunther's played for Gruden's brother.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got some nice intel there, and Gruden's had plenty of time to scout out the guys he wanted. Now, I don't know if he got the guy he wanted because not everyone is available, but he got a guy that I'm sure he coveted
and trusted.
I
don't think he brings him in if he doesn't.
Right, and you got to imagine Jay was in his ear and says, "Yeah, Paul's a solid guy."
Yep.
So. Raider WAP, by the way, it's Arden Key and PJ Hall. I saw what you did there, Arden Hall. Maybe that's your new hybrid Pokemon. Not in his final form yet, by the way. But, yeah, we're excited for the D. Still a lot of question marks there. We got to see how quickly it all comes together. But that's why these vets are there in camp. That's why a guy like Reggie Nelson is there to help get this installed. And we'll see. I mean, if he's there when the season starts, all you can say is he earned his way on there. I don't see Gruden as a guy that's handing out scholarships.
Hell no.
No. You know,
no freebies.
No, I mean, look at Ward. Ward was what, a 2nd or 3rd round pick? Gone, traded draft day.
Yep.
We're not spending any more time on you.
Nope.
So interesting. And remind you guys again that Reggie Nelson was playing in a single high scheme when he was here with K&J. He's a 2 high scheme guy. So that, I mean, I don't want to make excuses for him. But that accounts for a lot of what the issues were and why he wasn't available when Smith was passing guys off in coverage to him. So, you know, we'll see if he remains, if he's depth, if he's starting. If he's starting, like we've mentioned before, then that means there's issues at the safety spot.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
With all the competition they've brought in, shouldn't be the case. 303 Raider calling from cold, wet Colorado. Seems like the weather in Colorado is just as versatile as it is here in sunny California. It's a little bit cloudy today, though. It was cool.
Yeah,
today.
it's nice cool day.
Yeah, my allergies are
66
down.
degrees or something like that.
The allergies are calmed down. So what happened last week? I don't know if I mentioned this, but I get this sinus inflammation that's now pushing down on my teeth and creating like a pressure pain.
Yeah,
it feels like my teeth are going to shoot out of my face. Last year it happened to me. I thought it was a tooth. I kept going to the dentist, and they finally took an X-ray. It's your sinuses.
Yeah.
So I'm hopped up on pills right now.
Okay.
Am I doing all right?
You sound good.
Okay.
Sound good. As long as you're feeling good, man, then you're doing all right.
I'm feeling pretty good right now.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's it.
But yeah, so 303, appreciate your calls. You're always well thought out, articulate, well organized. Sign Mac now. That's the message. It's going to get done. He's saying this is not Kool-Aid. This is the real deal.
That's right.
I'm starting to believe that. But I'm not going to fully commit until game 1. Now, even if we catch that L, like I predicted, game 1, it's really all about what does it look like? How bad is it? Are we organized? Are we getting pre-snap penalties? Do we look confused on the field?
Is there positive takeaways?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what really matters. If we look like shit and we're just unorganized, just a whole bunch of disorder all over the field on both sides of the ball, then yeah, it's time to worry.
Yeah.
But if we do go down, which I predicted we wouldn't, but if we do take that L in that first game, it's all about the positives that the running game was working. You know, we had some little miscues here and there, but nothing that's not completely, that's completely out of our hands that we can't fix, right?
But believe it or not, Raider fan, you can lose a game and not have it look like a total shit show.
That's right.
So we will know week 1 what we're in store for.
Competitive is the word. Competitive is the word.
See guys communicating, we'll know.
That's it.
Head high on the sideline, we'll know.
Yep.
Slapping butts, we'll know.
Take it easy on us slapping butts.
Hey, there's the clipboards smacking the butt as you go to the sideline. That's a good sign.
There you go.
The coach is happy.
There you go.
Getting some consistency is a big win. We do need stability for a quarterback. I think Carr should finally have that now. I imagine him and Gruden are overtime right now. They finally have access to each other. You can imagine those are long conversations.
Yeah.
I don't know what Carr's schedule is like, but you gotta assume he's trying to meet the expectations of John Gruden. You know, it's a brand new boss. It's the first day of school.
Does he meet him at the office at 3 a.m. in the morning?
I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Maybe 4:15. I think Carr maybe he's gonna stop and get some coffee. He's like, John, it's crazy, man. I don't know though. Those Christian boys, they like to wake up early.
It's true.
Right?
It's true. I don't know.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know this.
Every Christian household I've ever been in, they're up at the crack of dawn. Just saying.
They like to start their day off good, man.
We were Catholic, so we slept in late and woke up feeling guilty. That's kind of how it goes. Catholic Church is real big on the guilt. O-line will be upgraded, but still a lot of questions. Optimism abound. I'm not too optimistic about the offensive line. I'll be honest with you. I think that's the biggest question mark on this team. I'm not saying that I think the draft picks were trash. I'm just saying that their draft picks takes a while for rookie linemen to come around.
Yeah.
It takes a while. It's like a slow cooker. They generally don't show up week one and start dominating.
That's right.
It's a big adjustment period. I think this is one of the toughest adjustments in the NFL for a rookie is playing on the offensive line. Quarterback's also there, and cornerback is also there, right?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the O-line at this point?
I think I'm in agreement with you. It's not something that we can expect to just like be lights out right away. But it's really what I'm really looking for, like, is how we cover up those ends, like how our inside linemen protect those new guys that we have out there, right? Because it's both sides are going to be new. Okay, we're not going to have possibly Penn. We're still waiting to see, right?
Right.
But there's a possibility that both sides could be new, and so how do Gabe Jackson, how does Kelechi, how does Hudson, how do they help out to make sure that they don't become our demise?
And this is something you could scheme around, right? Like John Gruden, big fan of the Philadelphia Eagles offense. Throwing an extra running back out there, throwing a Carrier and Smith out there. Yeah. Get a little extra protection on the edges.
It's true.
So,
and I think that's part of the reason why they were brought in too.
I think so.
That's part of the reason why you bring in multiple blocking tight ends, right? Because everybody's like, why do we need more than one blocking tight end? Well, there you go. If you have some question marks on the outside, then how do you strengthen the outside of your offensive line?
Right.
You put in some big bruising tight ends that are known for their blocking, not necessarily for their catching.
Yeah, you go jumbo. And both of them capable catchers, not the fastest guys, but can catch the ball.
Yeah.
And so then, once again, you got a little bit of misdirection now because you never know when these guys are going to chip and release.
That's right.
It's a jumbo package. It looks like a run. Maybe it's not. You get a little bit of motion with the wide receiver. You get a mismatch in the slot. There's a lot of things you can do with those jumbo packages. Eagles showed us that last year. So, it looks like there's at least some contingency plan there. You still have Giacomini that's going to come in. Again, not the most stellar tackle, but he's a vet, so at least he'll know what to do. How well he does it's another question. But there's contingency plans in place. And then lastly, 303, talking about the Dubs. I'm thinking you called in just before the game. I'm sure you're basking in the glory of this 40-point win. Pretty awesome. Dubs running wild on the court. Jay's a Lakers fan.
I'm a Lakers fan.
But so, you got some love for the Warriors, right?
Hey, I got love for good basketball, man.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And I do got a little love for the Warriors because they did have Jerry West with them for some time. Helped you guys become what you are right now. So,
absolutely.
Give a little credit to Jerry West.
Where's he at now?
Did he go to Memphis?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he had gone to Memphis. Yeah. I don't know.
He's a traveling man.
Yeah.
He's a traveling man. But yeah, man, I would love to see the Lakers get back to good form and get some nice games between the Warriors and Lakers.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I've been seeing some mixed reports about them saying that basically nobody's untouchable, everybody's tradable. I don't really like those talks.
No,
I kind of was hoping that they would go the route of the Warriors in as far as keeping their young guys. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting offseason, man.
Yeah, and just when you guys thought you were building your base, right? You're getting base.
That's what I'm saying.
You hear something like that. So, yes, sir. So, Don from Queens, lastly, last but not least, Don, been calling in every week. We appreciate that. You're on the YouTube chat right now. Shout out to you, Don. It is a slow time of year. Che and I love the old reruns, especially when you're talking about those NFL films, the throwback ones.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the shit.
That's like football crack. It's like football porn.
It is, man. If that was playing 24 hours, I would be watching 24 hours.
They should have an NFL Films channel.
Oh, you know what? That being said, just the other day they ran NFL Films had a Football Life.
Okay.
Kenny Stabler, man.
Oh, really?
It was good.
Oh, I missed that.
That's good. I recorded it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to find that. The other thing, I think as a young kid, watching those NFL films was really big, getting me into football. Because the way that the Sable, right? Sable was the producer for that, and then Steve, his son, later on. The way that they put those together, it's just so enticing. It romanticizes the game of football in a way that I don't think any other sport has ever done, as far as like cinematic coverage of the game, right? Just the way they're put together, the music and all that stuff, it's just so enticing.
Yep.
You can't look away. And you learn about the greats. You learn the history of your team. You learn the history of the league, other teams. It just gives you that important context and backstory, right? Sports are the original reality TV show.
Yep.
And I'm trying to get into NASCAR a little bit with my brother, but I'm going to use this to kind of illustrate my point. It's not a spectator sport. Racing's not a spectator sport. And if you go to the dirt track, it's fun. But watching it on TV, it's just not. Unless you know the storylines of the drivers, how the season's going, what their tendencies are, where the rivalries are, who crashed who last week.
Yeah.
When you know the backstory and the context, it makes it relatable, it makes it interesting. And I think NFL Films was a big reason for me, like really die hard getting into football, because it was like, oh, when you watch it back like this, okay, now when I watch the game, I know what I'm watching for.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And I'm talking about like when I was 8 years old. I think you had mentioned they come on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Opposite of bowling.
Yeah.
There's nothing else going on.
There's nothing else on TV, right? It was like a gap in the scheduling.
Yeah.
And then you just had NFL Films.
Yeah.
You just eat it up, man.
You hear like John Facenda's voice in there.
Yeah.
The icy tundra of Lambeau Field. I'm like, oh, talk to me, John. It's very, very much romanticizes the game, but in a way, I think they still do them, but nothing touches the classic ones.
No, the old school ones, man.
Yeah,
that's where it's at.
And as Raider fans
different nowadays.
As Raiders fans, we gotta give it up, because we would not have the autumn wind if it wasn't for NFL Films.
That's true. This is true.
So you could almost make an argument that a large part of our culture, and of course the name of this podcast, is due to NFL Films.
That's right.
The way they show those teams are covered in blood and pine tar and stick them, you know what I mean?
With like what would be illegal face masks in today's NFL, right? Like just like big ass gaps in their face masks.
Well, yeah, man. And then I think it was, one of the first times you really saw slow-mo used effectively to show like the beauty of sports, right? And the dance of it all, the ballet of it all, the physics of it all, the sheer impossibility of it all. You watch it slow down, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
But
it's great stuff, man.
It's good stuff. But thanks for calling back to that, Don. That's it's a nice bit of nostalgia for us. So, good calls.
Yeah, hell yeah, great calls.
Anything you want to add? We're gonna get Kane on here in a minute.
Nah, man, I think we covered it pretty well. And like I said before, we appreciate all your calls, man. Keep them coming.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are the heartbeat of the show. So we appreciate you guys, man. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Kane's Corner.
Yeah.
All right, we're back on the air. Having a hard time getting a hold of Kane right now, so we're going to wait and see if he shows up. If he does, we'll get him on the show. In the meantime, it's Chase Corner, sponsored by NFLShop.com. Make sure you click on PJ4F.com. Hit the banner on the page. Any jersey sales, any hats, any T-shirts you want to buy from NFLShop.com. Make sure you click through our website. We get a little piece of the pie. Helps keep our pirate ship stocked with rum.
Yeah.
And on the water. What's good, Che?
Hey, man. Let's do this. I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Fire the question.
So, first question I have for you is, who do you foresee being the number 2 running back on this roster? Is it Doug Martin? Is it Rashard? Is it DeAndre Washington? Who's it going to be?
You know what, man? I it's hard to say. It's really hard to say that we can be like super solid on picking one of the 3.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Doug Martin just for the obvious reasons. They brought him over, another veteran. Yeah, I think that's and just because of last season, we didn't get too much production out of Washington or Rashard. So
yeah,
I think they're leaning that way. I think it's also in hopes that Rashard and Washington start to show a little bit more and give them reason to go the opposite way, right?
Yeah, and I like Washington because of his durability, and he seems to fight harder for the extra yardage. But I like the upside of Martin. He's coming over here with the chip on his shoulder.
It's true.
He's shown that he's capable when he's healthy, and he's given the reps. And I think he's a good complement to Lynch. He's got a little bit of quickness, but he's definitely got some toughness there when he's on top of his game. So I want to be mad at that. It would make a lot of sense to bring a guy like that over, as long as it doesn't turn into, who was it, Trent Richardson?
Yeah.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
The other reclamation project. So I don't think so.
But you know what? When they did that with Trent Richardson, it was just kind of like, well, this is a former first-round pick.
Yeah.
High pick. He was a high pick. So, it's worth it. Let's see what he's got. If he's got something, then we just made out with like bandits. And if not, then he just goes right back to where he was. And unfortunately, he went right back to where he was.
And when we brought Trent on, I mean, it was visible that he had nothing left in the tank. We were just hoping that it would light a fire. With Doug, I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he just needs a new situation. He was kind of got buried in that running back core. He had some issues over there. And hopefully with a fresh start and a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, he can be a productive member of this running back
definitely.
committee. So,
well, what I've seen also, somebody posted this. I can't tell you who put it on Twitter, but there was like a little chart. It might have been PFF, and they were basically talking about how Doug Martin essentially has really good seasons every third year, and it just so happens that this happens to be in line with one of his every third years. So maybe that works out in our benefit, man. So maybe he has a big breakout season again. But again, he's a veteran, so when you put 2 veterans tandem in the backfield, I think it votes well. It bodes well for us, man.
Yeah, I think so. Hope so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So who's the surprise cut that hasn't happened yet? We just mentioned a crowded running back committee. Hood's out, but it's still crowded over there. You got a crowded wide receiver core. And you got, there was whispers that Jared Cook would be released earlier in the year too, and he's still there. He's probably your best route running catching tight end in the roster. So that would definitely be a shock if he was cut. But who do you think on this roster is going to go? Because it's fully loaded right now. I mean,
surprise cut.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe this is because I want this to happen, but maybe the surprise cut is Seth Roberts. Although we just saw some pictures of him and Gruden, having a good time at practice. So maybe he's growing on Gruden. Maybe he's showing a little something,
right?
Redeeming himself from last season. But I'm gonna go with Seth Roberts until further notice.
Okay, yeah. I think a lot of people will be happy with that. So we eat the whatever it is, the $2 million, and we just get rid of him to clear space. I mean, that could happen. And there'll be other cuts too, so we'll likely get that $2 million back by cutting some guys. If I go with a surprise cut, I'm gonna say PJ Hall doesn't make this team.
Watch yourself.
Yeah.
That's a surprise cut.
Yeah, and that's a shocker, right? I mean, I think that this guy, on paper has a lot of the things that we covet in that 3 tech position. But I also know smaller school, now playing at the NFL level, big jump. Obviously there's Vanderdoes there. You got Ellis there. His spot's locked up. You brought in Maurice Hurst. It could happen. I don't think so, but that's why I'm saying I'd be surprised.
It would be surprised. It would be a surprise cut. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Seth is still a surprise cut only because we don't gain money. We lose money by cutting him. And he's been on this roster.
Right.
I still think that would be somewhat of a surprise.
But it's also a surprise because it's, even though it's something that a lot of people are hoping for,
right?
We're not expecting it,
right?
And that's why I said surprise.
Right.
It would surprise me because I've been on the boat of, Like, let's get him out of here. It's time to transition him out.
Yeah.
But I still expect them to be around.
Right. And it's not like Reggie to take a cap hit and cut a guy, but which makes it I think is the most surprising element of that. A picture is worth 1,000 words, they say. We've been getting some sweet pictures coming out of the mini camps. What's your impression on what you're seeing?
It just looks like people are having a good time, man. Mm-hmm. Like they're enjoying being on the field together.
Right.
They're enjoying having the new coaching staff, having Gruden, be out there interacting, D'ing people up. Gruden's out there trying to play DB on receivers.
Stepping in for Mac.
He's rushing Derek Carr. Like, he's getting after it, man. So I love seeing that stuff. You know, it fires me up because it lets me know, like, he's all in, man.
Yeah.
He's the Gruden of old. He's all in. He's fully invested. And I think he's also building relationships with these players, which is important when you think about the lack of respect, I guess, most of the players had for the coaching staff last year, especially towards the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
Towards the middle end of the year, you definitely felt like that Del Rio had lost the team.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, Gruden recognizes that, and he's got to create a relationship with it, a bond with all these guys, and get them all on the same page, get them all headed in the same direction.
Right.
And what better way to do that than to be that guy in practice, you know, yelling, shouting, getting in there. It's like, let me show you how you do this. Let me show you how you do this, you know?
And that really harkens back to when he was here originally. I remember them saying he'd put his hand in the ground and he'd do things.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a vast difference from last year. For one, it's a lot more pictures. They're really boosting the media coverage out there as far as, I mean, not the outside media because they can't be there more than like 10 minutes into practice and drills. But just Oakland media, OaklandRaiders.com, you know, putting a lot out there. I'm seeing, like you are, a lot of people smiling, having a good time, but a lot of intensity, you know, right? A lot of action picks, a lot of different drills, and like you said, Gruden in the mix. When we saw picks last year, you know, it was Jack kind of with his head down, had his beach hat on, wasn't really saying much. Every once in a while you see a pic where he's cracking a smile, usually just looking at his clipboard. I haven't seen a single picture with John Gruden holding a clipboard. He's analytics out the window, play on the field.
I dig it. I dig it, man.
He's like, I'll look at the film and the numbers after practice.
Yep.
Right now he's mixing it up. So definitely a big difference as it would seem from the pictures.
The other thing too is Bruce Irvin was asked, you know, what it's like to have Gruden out there. He's said a lot of positive things, but he also said he's like allowing the players to control this team, allowing the players to control what it's like to, you know, the defense, the offense, taking ownership, essentially. You got to take ownership over your team, man.
Yeah.
This is your team.
Yep.
I'm a coach. I'm just going to tell you what I think we should be doing, but it's up to you to execute. And I think that's a great way of looking at it too. And another shout out to Bruce Irvin for graduating, man, from West Virginia, man.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's dope. That's awesome, man. That's humongous.
Kind of reading his story, a lot of people just counting him out multiple times along his not even his career, his life.
Yep.
And to see where he's got now, that's great.
Yeah,
it's a great story. So we had touched on this in the front of the show. We won't talk about the stadium because I think you and I discussed that pretty well, right? But your thoughts on the Raiders potentially losing Greg Papa, this guy that's been a voice of the Raiders. I mean, we've known as fans, we've known Bill King and we've known Greg Papa, and both of these guys, you know, Bill King, Hall of Fame announcer, Papa will probably eventually be a Hall of Fame announcer.
Yeah,
and it's his voice and his call synonymous with the Raiders, right?
I mean, come on. The Touchdown Raiders is...
You talk to non-Raider fans, and they'll bring that up.
It's at the end of our podcast, bro. That's how synonymous it is with the Raiders, man.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's a huge loss. I think it's a huge loss. I think it's up there. Like, you think about all the great sports teams. You think about, you think about Vince Scully with the Dodgers. You know, there's certain announcers that just go hand in hand with their team, and you don't ever expect them to not be the announcer for their team. Right. So for us to lose Papa after, you know, so many years of just identifying Papa as a Raider.
Right.
We identify him as a Raider.
Right.
You know? And then to hear that he might be jumping ships, That's tough, man. That's a tough bullet to bite, man.
We identify him as a Raider. I mean, he's officially an employee of the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not only do we identify him as he is a Raider, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of like imagine Vince Scully announcing the Angels games.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or what is it? John Martin? No. Shoot, I'm blanking right now. The guy that does the Giants games. If he were to jump over to the Oakland A's,
right?
It would just be really weird.
It'd be weird.
It'd be very surreal. So, and I honestly think I forget who the Niners announcing team on the radio is, but it's the one guy with the deeper voice on there. He does a pretty good job. I like his voice. Sometimes he's on KMBR. He's got a good voice for radio. I think that'd got to be weird for Niner fan too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be weird for them, but I think it'd be a huge plus for them.
Now, is he allowed to do the touchdown Niners call? Dude. Yo.
That shit ain't gonna fly, bro. That is not gonna fly, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Work something out, Papa. That just made me really sad. That's shit.
I mean, okay, yeah, he's jumping jobs, but now you really got to imagine that call, right, in your ears.
But wouldn't it be great if he effed up? And he goes over there and he's announcing. He goes, "Touchdown Raiders!" And they're like, "What, Papa?" Oh, damn, my bad.
It could happen.
That's my past life.
And does he draw the N out like the R? Is it?
No,
I'm not even gonna do it.
No, man,
not even gonna do it. No. I don't know what the deal is. Like we said, I think he's, to borrow the A's terminology, I think he's rooted in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
He's got family here. He's just built his whole brand here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, and that's understandable. I'm not hating on him at all. I'm not hating on him. I can understand where he's coming from. It's a tough decision.
It's a business decision.
It's a business decision, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man. But yeah, it's a sad day if and when that takes place, man.
Yeah.
It's a sad day.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we
get emotional over here.
Yeah,
it was brought tear in my eye.
I don't know, man. I think he could still do the games. It's not that far of a flight. I mean, he travels with the Raiders as it is.
It's true. This is true.
9 games out of the year. Recently, 9 games out of the year, he's on the road with them.
The only problem is, like we said, he does other things. He does radio. He does other teams and stuff like that. So he has a busy schedule. He's known as a guy that just likes to fill up his schedule with tons of stuff to do. So then that's where the traveling all the time, right? If he's not just traveling for away games, he's traveling for home games too. Right. That's where that starts to affect his.
7, I guess 9 more games a year you throw in preseason. I mean that could be a nuisance. But again, he's not doing anything else on Sundays, and he's used to travel. He's not announcing other games, and he could very well do what he does. Like if he has to say a Monday somewhere, or they get a fill-in host on a Monday night if the Raiders are traveling. So how much of this now that we've talked about it being possibly a reality, how much of this do you think is just clickbait and smoke?
I don't know.
I mean, this is like the slowest week in the offseason, and this story comes out. You know what I mean?
This is true. You may have a point there. It may just be something to fill the news.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else really going on.
Now, he did say it himself on the air. He's like, maybe the Niners will hire me. That could be him riffing and joking.
Right.
But as they say in Shakespeare, in jest, there's truth.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think I heard him say something along the lines sometime last season when the whole discussion, obviously the discussion about Raiders moving and all that was going on. He was talking about, well, I don't really know what's going to happen. He said that on radio. I think he went as far as to say, like, I don't really know that I'll be asked to go, like that kind of thing. But I can't see the Raiders not wanting him to come with. It would really be, I would really think it would be on him as to whether or not he's willing to do that.
He's a fan of the family. He's a member of the family, I should say. John Gruden's a big fan of his. I know they're friends. They hang out at Ricky's at times. So I think the organization's going to do what they can to take care of him. And if he doesn't go, that's a personal and a business decision on his part.
And understandable.
It's understandable. It would be heartbreaking. I don't think he wants to be announcing Niner games, dog. I don't think so.
I should hope.
So we'll pump the brakes on this for now, but we had to cover it, right?
We had to. Someone put it out there, so we had to talk about it.
Yeah. So I personally think he probably sticks around.
Yeah.
They'll work something out, but
let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. So it's time for I See You.
I See You.
And it's fully interactive this week because we're back on YouTube. Why did we not do YouTube last week? People might want to know. It's because I was rushing home from work. Yeah.
We were both running late. We were both running late.
101 was a freaking parking lot. What happened was a tow truck rear-ended like a Hyundai so bad that it only had the two front wheels. And the front windshield cracked because it got hit so hard. So I don't know if that guy made it. But God bless him if he did. Prayers to the family if he or she did. But yeah, we were late, running late, and just didn't have time to set up the cam and all that stuff. So that's the only reason why. But if you came back and you're watching the live stream this week, thank you. We also got some new subscribers. So thank you guys. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. I'm looking over here at the chat on YouTube. Again, if you want to be a part of this segment next week, make sure you watch the live stream and just throw your question in the chat. And you can even throw it in there early if you want, and I'll copy and paste it. Just hit us up. Hey, Kenny and Shay, this is my question, and I'll copy it and paste it over my notes.
Yeah.
So we don't lose it in the scroll. But without further ado, question comes from Raider Mike. And if this is the same Raider Mike that I know on Twitter, this is a guy you should follow.
Yeah.
So he says, he asks, do you think Khalil Mack will show up to teams' OTAs? If he does not show up, should Raider Nation be worried? Raider Nation should not be worried about Khalil Mack. He's going to be a Raider. Do I think he'll show up to OTAs? If he has not signed the extension yet, then no. He's not going to show up to OTAs. He's not going to risk injury before he puts pen to paper. Now, it's not to say he's not training right now, but he's training with his own people. And, I guess you could say the risk is still as high, but he's working with people he trusts in a program that he knows. So I guess you can say the risk would be minimized there. Would we like to see him there?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Now, do you think Raider Nation should be worried about this at all?
I don't think we should be worried in the sense that he's not going to get signed. I think it's stupid to think that he's not going to get signed, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's stupid to think that. I mean, obviously anything's possible, but there's a few things that are sure things, and Khalil Mack is one of those things. He's a sure thing.
Yeah.
You don't go a different route from Khalil Mack. So I think Reggie's a smart man. I think Gruden's smart. I think they're aware of this, and they're not going to do anything to mess that up.
Yeah.
You don't mess something like that up, man. That's a franchise player.
Right.
That's a guy that's supposed to be wearing silver and black for his entire career.
Right.
So it's going to get done. It's just a matter of when it gets done. Hopefully it gets done in quick fashion, and he is able to join us for OTAs. And he comes back smiling and ready to do his job, man. Ready to get down.
And I'm looking at here the OTA offseason workouts. They're right around the corner, May 22nd to the 24th. Obviously, right now we're in the we just finished up the voluntary minicamp, May 29th to the 31st, and June 4th to the 7th. So, as JFB noted in his call, was it JFB? No, it was 303. It's 303. Noted in his call that the car contract got done towards the end of June, beginning of July. So
right.
If that schedule is the same for Mac, then I would not expect to see him at the OTA workouts. But if it gets into mid-June where the mandatory minicamp happens, which is June 12th to the 14th, I don't know that I would be concerned still, but I would be disappointed. If he's not at the mandatory minicamp, then that could mean, and this would be a big gamble. This would be a gutsy call by Gruden, but it could mean that he misses playing time, or he gets buried not buried, but he gets knocked down on the roster. It could be that they hold him out for a game or two.
Right.
Now, do you do that with your premier, pass rusher, with the top pass rusher in the game? Probably not. And that's probably why you don't see Mac there right now, because he's not worried about his position on the roster.
Right.
He's worried about his health.
Yeah.
And he's concerned about his money.
That's right.
So, if you want to see this guy pay the man, I'm already a little bit concerned. I don't know how all of the finances work. I got to get Rory Anderson back on here to tell us.
Right.
But I don't see why that's not getting done this month. At this point, he's MIA. We need to get him in the building with John Gruden.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And Paul Gunther.
I think so too, man. I think so. I'm in agreement with you. But
yeah,
like I said, I don't think we should be worried as to whether or not they're going to get it done.
Not at all. Don from Queens asked, do you think we would sign Bowman and Penn gets cut? I'm not sure kind of how this question's worded. Like, I don't know if you're asking if we got to cut Penn to sign Bowman.
Right.
Or if you're just asking in general, do we sign Bowman and do you think we cut Penn? I'm just going to answer that question. I think Penn stays, healthy or not, because he's going to get healthy eventually. You'd think these Liz Frank injuries can be nagging. But I don't think we cut Penn. I think we need as much insurance on that line as we can get.
Yep. And I think the reason why you bring in, you draft so many young guys is so that they have somebody to learn from. Mm-hmm. And Penn's that guy.
Yeah.
We're not looking at Giacomini as the guy to coach up these guys to all-star caliber players. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. We need Penn. We need Penn there. We need him as a veteran voice. We need him as a on-the-field coach. We need him there. Just bring his presence, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know when we drafted Colton Miller, right when the pick went out, Penn tweeted, I think, more motivation in all caps. He deleted that tweet shortly after, but I don't really care how he takes that draft pick, and if he takes it that way, good, because everyone needs to be pushed.
Yeah.
I think athletes prefer when they're pushed. I think we talked about the Warriors earlier. They play better when their back's against the wall. A little bit of motivation is never a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what form it comes. If that's what's motivating you, then it's purely motivation.
That's right.
So hopefully he can get back there. And then Bowman, Navarro Bowman. This question just keeps coming up every week, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we sign Bowman? What do you think happens with Bowman, man?
I mean, at this point, it feels like there's a very good possibility that he does get signed eventually, just because he hasn't signed anywhere else, man.
Exactly.
He hasn't signed anywhere else. There's no rumors. There's nothing. There's nothing in the air about him talking to said team or anything like that.
No visits scheduled.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. So I really think he's just waiting to see if he can get something better.
Yeah.
And but I think he sticks, man. I think he's not. He's definitely not going to sit out a season. If he still wants to play, he's going to sign. So he's going to sign with the Raiders unless somebody comes with like a great deal for him or gives him the offer that he really wants, right? Yeah. Because I think that's the only reason why he hasn't signed the contract that was offered to him by the Raiders.
I think there's a couple things in play here. I think, for one, it's a vet shortcut. By not signing yet, he gets to kind of skip out on these voluntary minicamps.
Exactly. That's another thing.
Now, they're voluntary, so if he were to sign, he could still opt out. But it's a bad look when you're signed up and you're not there, and everyone else is there, except for Khalil Mack. So he could be skirting that. He could be holding out for their offers, which seemingly aren't coming. Mm-hmm. The other thing he could be hoping for is, players are going to get cut here, going forward in just a couple months. Teams are going to start shedding these extra players. There's going to be injuries.
It's true.
It's going to create holes, and he could just keep his fingers crossed and hope that a team gets desperate and pays him just a little bit more, whatever he wants. I'm hearing, again, it's around the $5 million range, and I think the Raiders are probably throwing something around $2 to $3 million out at him. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I think makes it less likely is a Derek Johnson signing.
Right.
But, who wouldn't want to see those two guys paired up and working in rotation?
Yeah.
And don't forget, we talk about Bowman like he's this really old vet. He's only 29 years old.
Right.
He's slowed down considerably. He probably plays with the speed of like a 32-year-old, 33-year-old vet. Mm-hmm. But his brain is 100%.
Yeah.
And his leadership is needed. That's why he came aboard. He kind of threw his hands up last year because everything that happened in the locker room was just out of control. And, so if you want our answer, I think Che and I both lean towards it's the most likely place for him to sign is here. He's not going to sit out a year, like you pointed out, Che.
Right.
And the only way he ends up somewhere else is if a team gets desperate or ends up with a little more cash after shedding some players and say, hey, let's add Bowman. So I still maintain that L.A. regionally is probably the best thing for him. I don't see him going to the East Coast or anything like that. But, yeah, it's still just a wait and see right there. So hopefully, I know this kind of answers a little bit all over the place, but there's a lot of moving parts right now. Hopefully we gave you guys an answer that you're satisfied with. Right? Let's do some shout-outs.
Shout-outs!
Shout out to Jerry Zamora, Nick the Greek, Peanut, Carl Francis, The Toilet Bowl, Moke Raider, Scott Odell. Scott's going to come on the podcast actually in about a month. Scott Odell narrated Behind the Raider Shield, the audiobook. So we're going to have him on.
Nice.
Because I found out he's actually a big Raiders fan. And also the voice of many audiobooks.
There you go.
So he should have a great voice.
Yeah.
Right? And he actually hooked me up with a free copy of the audiobook, so I'm going to be listening to that and pass that on to you too.
Send it over.
Yes,
Send
sir.
it over.
Canathian Fountain. That's a hell of a name. Anthony Sightsinger, Fear the Raiders 310, Renee Carrasco, David Manwarren, Jay Smith, KC Raider, Rick Rea, Jared Liebman, Scott Oakletree, Hercules T86, Matty Mayhem, Jake, Diego, Alan William. Shout out to Chucks and Tees, Nez, 90s Life.
Yeah.
Kev 2020, Coach Tyrone Richardson, Kyle, and one of Raider Nation. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for the follows.
I got some shout outs too. IG shout outs. Here we
Do
go. Kyle Moraes. Okay.
All right.
Ben 19. O Junior 92. Shout out my cousin. Raiders Center. Shout out. Jinx the Raider. Billy W. Hawkins.
Nice.
Salt City Silver Black. Immortal Raiders 69. Shout out Grilla Fingers, and one more shout out. Although you're not a new follower, you're a long time follower.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna shout out David and Melody.
Hell yeah.
253 for putting us on the full screen
For sure.
Yeah, and basically being in the studio with us, man. Shout out to you, brother.
Yeah, man. David's hella cool, man. Really enjoy the conversation. Sometimes I just lurk on your guys' conversation. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. I know David's in the chat right now too, or he's watching. He's quiet in the chat, but shout out to you, man. Definitely good pull.
Yeah.
Billy W. Hawkins sounds like he's got a badass country band, huh? Right? So
And he's got a mean car too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He's had one since he was a teenager. Like, Billy Hawkins got that SS. Yeah, Billy, if you're listening, man, I don't know if you got a band, but you sound like a mean picker. So, yeah, man, it's 9:15.
Yes, it is.
This is the earliest we've ever finished.
Yes, it is.
That's good, huh?
It is good.
It was good. So
It is good.
Got a little editing to do, but it's getting faster. And hell of a show, man. Missed Kane, though.
Yeah.
I hope he's all right. Maybe he went to sleep. I don't know. I know his daughter's expecting, so anything can happen.
This is true.
And then a little bit of my bad because I told him we'd be calling him earlier, and I'm not sure what happened there. One of the breaks maybe dragged on a little bit. But, yeah, Kane will be back next week. I'm sure of it. And, yeah, shout out to you, Raider Kane, for sure.
Yeah, bro.
And shout out to everybody that joined YouTube tonight as we are broadcasting. Let me see if I can get some of those names. I'll reset them. Sean Garcia, shout out. Jake Brockhoff, shout out. Shout out to BH707, Kevin Wynn, who subscribed. You subscribed a while back and then unsubscribed and resubscribed. Okay. Rich Alexander, Mickey Levita, Mauro Armas, Leonardo Govea, and Jim Riviera. And Jason Terry. There's quite a long list there. I haven't been doing that, but I'll be doing that every week. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Get a shout out next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Raider Nation.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all.
So that's it for another week's show. Tune in every week wherever podcasts are found. iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio. Most importantly, the Pillaging app.
Yes.
Download it, rate it, review it, leave us a message there. Call in and leave a message to be played on air anytime, starting right now. You can call in for next week, 408-909-PJFF. Get dipped in your pillaging gear. Head over to pj4f.com/shop. Get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a coffee mug, maybe a little whiskey flask. Whiskey? Download the app. Once again, I'm Kenny Stapler, joined as always
by your boy Chet.
We out here.
Peace.
Go Raiders.